The value of sleep. I watched a couple lectures yesterday. I believe his name is William something. Let me see. Let me look his name up. I want to butcher it. He wrote the book Why We Sleep. I think it's Matt Walker. Matthew Walker. And he has several lectures. They're all over the place. It's one of the most impactful books, apparently. Why We Sleep. I did a little research on a little sleep app, and it informed me that over the last 6 months, I've averaged around 5 hours of sleep at night. For the last month, I've averaged less than 5 hours of sleep at night. For the last week, around 4.5 hours of sleep, and I'm not even in an active duty position. Like I'm not even in a military environment right now, and I'm sleeping less. And I wondered, okay, so I'm not live streaming. I'm struggling to put videos out. I haven't gone to the beach in a minute. I just been struggling mentally. What's wrong with me? My diet's been off and on, but I'm just losing my energy's low. Sleep. You need sleep. It's the only reform of regeneration that we have as humans. We try to use caffeine. uh, if you guys been following me long enough, you know I used to get up at 2:30 a.m. 6 days a week, going to bed around 10, 10:30, 11, just barely getting by 3 and 4 hours of sleep, barely getting by. And I was younger. I can't do it now. I'm 29 now. 4 a.m. It's easy. I have my alarm set at 4 a.m. I was getting up at 4 a.m. nonstop. I set my alarm last night for 8 a.m. I slept 7.5 hours last night because I realized if I'm going to have a healthy life, I need sleep. And it's not so much the amount of hours, it's the timing, the circadian rhythm. You need rest. It's not just sleep, you need rest. REM cycle, all that. I'm like, we try to repeat all the rhetoric. Kevin Samuel's doing live streams, 10 o'clock at night, 6, 7 nights a week. It's not healthy. Also, drinking Red Bulls while doing so. 54 years old, his age is up in the air. Who knows how old he was? In his 50s, drinking Red Bulls every single night, doing live streams when he should be asleep. Correlation, not causation. We don't know what killed him. Some say it's a heart attack. Some say it was assassination. It's a whole bunch of conspiracies. But one thing I do correlate is he still died pretty early for someone who was seen as pretty fit. It looked like he took care of himself. I'm sure the Red Bulls didn't help. I'm sure live streaming at 10 o'clock at night, early into the night, early morning, 12 midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm sure that didn't help. The amount of stress of being a target, of having your name being dragged through the mud, of trying to hide your family. Like he successfully kept his family out the limelight. No one knows what his daughter looks like, what her name is. Never saw his mother in the limelight. He shielded his family. But the stress that comes with that. I was talking to a friend of mine down here. He just bought it's not brand new, but he just bought a Lamborghini Huracan. Bright yellow, beautiful, beautiful car. Inside interior, it's just beautiful car. Sounds amazing. And I asked him, what does it feel like to own a Lamborghini? How do you feel when you wake up and you realize out in my front yard is a yellow Lamborghini Huracan? And he said, it causes me anxiety. It caused me anxiety. Not the answer I was expecting. I was expecting it makes me feel like a man and powerful and empowered and I'm able to drive fast, and I start my car and people start looking and people got their phones out and people want to take pictures with it and people in my DMs and then trying to catch some of this. They want these draws, you understand? No, he said it causes me anxiety because every tick, every noise in the engine, every curb that I scrape, every driveway I have to drive into, any sign that somebody might be hitting me, a fender bender, he knows that The smallest little ding, the smallest paint scratch costs thousands of dollars. Same thing with people that live in gated communities. The hardest thing about being rich, I would imagine, is staying rich. It's protecting the riches. That's why people live in gated communities. It can be seen as a prison, but it's also their fortress. They're trying to keep people out. They're trying to protect what they got. And the more you get, the more you have to protect it. FDIC banks, $250,000. Millionaires, they got to put their money in insurance, investments. Because the second you try to put it liquid, it deteriorates. Inflation eats it up. Insurance only protects so much. I would imagine that Kevin Samuels, his success over time became diminishing at some point. And again, this is just speculation. But I would imagine that the amount of stress that came with it, I'm sure that it didn't help his heart. The amount of worry, the anxiety that came with it, oftentimes depression. A lot of other streamers that were close to him were talking about how they would talk daily on the phone. I'm sure that helped him. I'm sure that extended his life. I'm sure that grounded him in reality and truth, talking to other men and talking about the issues that they're dealing with. And men need that. Men need to vent too, just not always to women. Sometimes a man needs to cry, just not in front of his woman. I would imagine that the stress over time that builds up over having millions of people following you, hanging on to your every word, clipping everything you post, trying to monetize everything you say, trying to find the smallest little detail, the smallest little thing of if you slip up, if you put your hand, just the smallest little thing, people are waiting to clip it. I'm sure the stress that comes with that. Part of me is kind of grateful that there's only 8 people watching. I'm like, I know who about 1 or 2 of them are. I know I see some people in the comments. I'm like, I'm not worried about thousands of people watching me. The goal is that, but sometimes you enjoy being small. That if I do post something that this, maybe I shouldn't post that. I can take it down and nobody has screen recorded it that I know of. Nobody's like rushing to repost things. I'm sure it's stressful. Driving a Lamborghini, you're just worried about who's going to hit me today. Who's going to try to get hit by me? Who's going to slam on the brakes, brake check me every 2 minutes, trying to get paid from me? Who's trying to steal my car? Who's trying to steal a hubcap? Who's trying to steal a logo off? Who's going to scratch it because they don't like me? Who's going to key my car because they don't like it? Who's trying to get a relationship with me just to get paid? Who's trying to ask me for money? I'm sure there's a lot of stress that comes with that.